People think every part of Fairfield feels the same until you actually live here. The truth is, each neighborhood has a different lifestyle, price point, and set of trade-offs. In this video, I'm going to be breaking down each area, the areas that look affordable online with their set of trade-offs, the areas that are your sweet spot, plus the prestigious areas of Fairfield that define luxury living. I will be doing it as a rating system from a 1-star to 5-star. I'm Jennifer Lockwood, a Fairfield County real estate advisor, and I help buyers relocate to every corner of Fairfield and beyond Fairfield's borders. First, I'm going to start with the neighborhood map. So this is the town of Fairfield and all the different neighborhoods that we're going to go through. And I'm starting with 1-star because the 1-star to me is the affordability access into town, where it costs the least to buy property in order to use the town's amenities and the incredible school system. And that is the Grassmere and Tungus Hill area. And here in the Grassmere area, you are bordering Bridgeport. You're on the eastern part of town. And the Tungus Hill neighborhood also is north of that, bordering Bridgeport. And it goes along Tungus Hill Cutoff and Black Rock Turnpike. So this area is a more denser area. The houses are closer together. You'll find capes and colonials that were built in the 1940s to the 1960s. And this area is also close to I-95 and the train. So you can hear some noise depending on where you live in this area. And also you are in a commercial corridor along Black Rock Turnpike. You'll find a lot of commercial development. And as we go along the street, this is in the Tungus Hill area. You could see what I mean about the houses being close together. You'll find smaller homes and smaller property. What people love about living here is that it's a great entryway into town, and it also has access to commuting, so you're close to I-95 and the train. Now, the trade-offs is that some of the homes have been around for a while, so they need some updating. And the homes here cost between $550,000 to $650,000, depending on where you are. And another trade-off is that the appreciation rates in this part of town is not quite as high as the entire town of Fairfield or even in the coastal areas. So while we have seen growth, you're just not going to see as great of a growth as you would in other parts of town. That is my reason for labeling it as a 1-star, because it's an entry point into town, and you'll find not only single family homes, but apartment buildings and multifamilies, making the neighborhood more transient than other parts of town. Now let's move on to the 2-tier neighborhood, and that would be Stratfield, value with trade-offs. So in the Stratfield neighborhood, I'm going to outline for you right here. It's in the northern part of town. So its location is a little bit further from the other parts of town, and it borders Bridgeport and is this pretty big section. And this is Stratfield Road right along the majority of the neighborhood. This is a long-standing, very family-friendly neighborhood that many residents absolutely love. The homes were built in the 1940s to the 1970s, very charming, have a lot of character, and it's a tight-knit community. There's some family-friendly parks, and the Lake Mohegan is close by. There's tree-lined streets, and you'll find some walkable pockets, but most of the area is a traditional suburban, quiet, stable, and dependent on your car. Here I'm going down one of the streets in Stratfield. It's one of my favorite streets. So there are some sidewalks, and you can see how charming these houses are. A very family-friendly oriented atmosphere. Plus, the Stratfield area has the Stratfield Village Association, which protects and preserves the character of this part of town. They have an event every year called Leakin Parkapalooza, in which they have musicians and vendors, and the community within the Stratfield neighborhood all come together. The median sale price in this area is $719,000. So still well below the average price within Fairfield of $1,050,000. So the trade-offs are that you do have smaller lots. There is aging infrastructure in this neighborhood as well, with the houses being built from the 40s to the 70s, but you'll see people renovate their home over time. It is wonderful for people seeking a more peaceful environment where you're a little bit away from the hubbub of town. And because the price point is lower, you can get into this part of town and be part of the town of Fairfield. So we have the 3-tier areas, and the 3-tier is a solid middle tier. You get the best balance of value. Let's start with the university area. This is one of the largest neighborhoods next to Greenfield Hill, and it is in the center of Fairfield. So it surrounds Fairfield University, which is right here. So it's all the neighborhoods that surround Fairfield University. And each neighborhood does vary a little bit, even in this area. you will find homes built from the 1950s, 60s, 70s, new construction, really a wide variety. There's colonials, Cape Cods, and some new builds. The energy changes from street to street because you'll have some streets that have sidewalks and then other streets that don't. And some of the areas are closer to town, so it's more walkable. So you could see it's centrally located. You're close to I-95, the train, the center of town. And also, if you're on the northern part of the university area, you're close to Black Rock Turnpike shopping and maybe the Merritt Parkway. So you can see as you go down these streets, there's some areas that have a quarter acre and others that might be a little bit tighter. So it really does depend on what street you're driving down, but you'll see a wider range of types of homes throughout this area. The median sale price currently is $940,000 for the university area, and it's appreciating at the town level. So it is closer to the median price of the entire town, and it also is appreciating at the same level as the town. There's some ongoing reinvestment in this area, so you'll see homes being torn down and having some new construction throughout. And with that, of course, there's trade-offs. So what are the trade-offs? Well, you're going to get a higher price point in this part of town than the other neighborhoods I already discussed because of location. You could have limited walkability depending on where you are located within the university area. There are also busier traffic patterns. So here is the Fairfield University section on this map. And North Benson Road, this road that travels from the Post Road to Black Rock Turnpike, is a well-traveled road, as well as Mill Plain Road. These are like your two cut-through roads from town to the northern part of Fairfield. So you will find traffic on those streets. We're seeing it more and more, especially during a pickup and drop-off for school and rush hour. There's high competition in this area. So many of the homes that come on the market get swooped up pretty quickly. So you have to be strategic when you're trying to secure a home in this area. And honestly, a lot of buyers get stuck when they don't talk strategy before they're purchasing, which is why I offer planning phone calls before we get started looking for a home. So you know how the market is operating and how strategic you need to be when putting an offer in. I'll put my Calendly link below so you can schedule a call with me. I also wanted to mention about college students. So while the university area is around Fairfield University, that does not mean that college students are living in the university area. They typically stay on campus with their housing or they rent at the Fairfield Beach area. That is a hot spot for the college kids. There's a lot of rentals down there. The majority of homes in the university area are owner occupied. Know that little local secret when you hear about the university area. Back to the map and still talking about 3-star or 3-tier area of Fairfield. And second location in this particular category would be the Lake Hills and Lake Mohegan area. And that's right here. So it's in the southern part of town in the center between Greenfield Hill and Stratfield. What's wonderful about this particular neighborhood is that it is along the lake. So you have St. Mortar Lake and Lake Mohegan. They are two separate neighborhoods, the two of them, but I'm combining them for this video. Mohegan has a recreation area. There's open space with a dog-free walking trail. Homes all range from 1940s to 1980s, and they're colonials, capes, and a little bit new construction peppered throughout. Great area if you want more space and nature, a little bit more land on these properties. So you can see driving down this street how there's a little bit more land than you've seen in other parts that we've already explored. Larger lots, you feel there's more landscape and nature in this particular neighborhood. The average sale price in Lake Mohegan and Lake Hills combined is around $850,000 to $1 million. It really does depend on the house in this location as far as which price point you're going to land on. And thanks to the community reputation, the proximity to the parks and the schools, it does have strong buyer demand. So again, just like in the other areas, some of these homes may need some updating due to the age of the homes. There's limited walkability. So while some might have sidewalks, you also will have a bit of a longer drive to get to the beach or to the center of town. So families that prioritize outdoor living, more space, and a close-knit community can enter into this particular neighborhood at a lower price point than if you were going to be living down in the beach area. So Lake Mohegan's and Lake Hills represents Fairfield's best value with lifestyle and community. The aging homes and distance to town keeps it at a 3-tier. Now let's move on to the 4-tier neighborhood, and it would be the Fairfield Beach area. Right along the coastline. It would be this whole area from Jennings Beach to Penfield to South Pine Creek down and across the Old Post Road and up South Pine Creek. This is one of Fairfield's most recognizable locations. There's some historical sections in this part of town because some of those homes on the Old Post Road near Town Hall, they were built in the 17 and 1800s. And then you have original cottages going along the beach and then some new modern construction. So it is a wide variety of types of properties you're going to find in the beach area. Entire areas on smaller pieces of property. They range from 0.11 acre to a quarter acre in this area. The vibe here is relaxed, upscaled, and distinctly coastal New England. During the summer months, it becomes busy with beachgoers, walkers, and lively seasonal energy. So as we drive down one of the more popular streets, you'll see there's some new construction homes and some original homes, and the homes are close together. You have direct beach access, walkability to town. It has excellent long-term appreciation. And when I talked earlier how the median sale price in the entire town is $1.05 million, in this area it's $1.6 million. So you do pay a premium to have this location and to be close to everything. One of the big trade-offs is flood insurance. And you can see from this map, this entire purple is the beach area. There's only 2 sections that are higher than the flood zone right here. But the majority of this area, you are paying flood insurance to live in the beach area, which is why many of the new construction homes now are built higher. There's higher maintenance costs because living by the water, you do have more maintenance with the salt and the air. And depending on where you live in this area, you can hear I-95 over here. I've had clients that have lived kind of closer to the southern part in this area. And depending how the wind blows, sometimes you really can hear the highway. So just keep that in mind. It is a great option as long as you understand the trade-offs with flood insurance and higher costs of maintaining your home. This area has consistent property appreciation. It tends to increase higher than the overall town because it is such a sought-after location. I rated a 4-star because of the direct access to the beach and the town. I don't put it in the luxury category only because the drawbacks of flood zone, and you are pretty much on top of each other living. So you are living in a fishbowl a little bit, depending on how your home is situated, but you're not going to get a ton of privacy. That's why I keep it under the ultra exclusive tier. Now we're going to 5-tiered neighborhoods, and I have 3 of them. These are the most exclusive, prestigious, and refined areas of town. First, I will start with Southport Village. So Southport is on the coastline and it borders Westport. I'm outlining it right here. It is one of the town's most historic and distinguished neighborhoods. Centered around its marina, harbor, Southport feels like a New England storybook. Its location you cannot beat. In a walkable village area that has stores, bars, restaurants. You have the luxury hotel, the Del Mar, their own train station, their own beach access, and their own zip code. Southport is one of Connecticut's most historic districts. It consistently has strong sales, and the median sale price in the entire area of Southport is $1.5 million. But these homes that are along the beach can go upwards of $3 million. There's limited inventory because of such a tight footprint. This is for buyers seeking prestige, charm, and timeless coastal architecture. I've done a previous video on all the details of Southport, and I will put that link below if you'd like more information. The second 5-tier area would be Sasco, again along the coastline. This area is along the coastline in between the Fairfield Beach area and Southport Village. It is one of the smaller neighborhoods in town. So this area has unmatched water views and direct beach access and golf course frontage. It is home to Fairfield's highest valued properties, and they often range from $3 to over $10 million. It has architectural significance, historical estates, shingle-style mansions, and custom waterfront builds. It's quiet and a secure environment with limited through traffic and strong privacy. It has proven legacy appeal that properties here remain in demand across market cycles. Now, the trade-offs in this area is that it has an extremely high price point with limited inventory and very few listings per year. There is some flood zone exposure for some waterfront parcels. Competition is not quite as fierce in this area because It's a smaller buyer pool with multi-million-dollar thresholds. This area offers unmatched prestige and scarcity, making it the town's definitive five-star tier for both lifestyle and value retention. So back to our map, the final five-star top-tier area is Greenfield Hill. This is the largest neighborhood in town, and it does have 1 to 2 acre zoning. Most of it is 2 acre zoning. You can see the area that it covers. You'll find some open space here, as well as large estate properties. This is a crown jewel neighborhood in Fairfield, known for its rolling countryside, its stone walls, and estate-sized lots. The feel in Greenfield Hill is classic Connecticut, quiet, elegant, and distinctly private. Yet you're only 10 to 15 minutes from downtown or I-95. Greenfield Hill is known for its Dogwood Festival they have every Mother's Day weekend, where vendors come into the center of Greenfield Hill. It is a celebration of the dogwood trees and the community, as the dogwood trees do line many of the main roads going up to the Greenfield Hill Congregational Church. Greenfield Hill has its own little town center. There's a corner market, sandwich shop, and they have a farmer's market in the summer every Saturday. Greenfield Hill is perfect for luxury buyers, families valuing space and prestige, and is a much slower pace environment. While it does lack coastal proximity and walkability, its estate zoning, timeless character make it one of Fairfield's most coveted neighborhoods. As you can see, Fairfield is not a one-size-fits-all. Some areas like Grassmere and Tunxus Hill are an affordable way to get into town with a set of trade-offs. Others, like the Stratfield area, is a balance between price and convenience. Then you have your mid-tier of the University and Lake Hills and Lake Mohegan area. Both have different vibes and lifestyle. It's important to find the one that fits you. Then we have the 4-star area of Fairfield Beach, in which you have absolute convenience to everything in town. And the trade-off is flood zone and the density of the properties in that area. And then finally, the 5-star areas, the most prestigious areas in town, which is Southport Village, Sasco, and Greenfield Hill. This is where location, design, and legacy meets long-term value. The difference between all of these is not just the price, it's how you want to live within your budget and your lifestyle in Fairfield. Again, I'm Jennifer Lockwood, a local realtor here in Fairfield, and I'd be happy to help you start your search and understand the very distinct differences between areas not only in Fairfield, but in many Fairfield County towns.